All right, question of the day. What's your favorite classic game? Connect 4, Clue, Risk, Monopoly. I know that Monopoly gets a bad rap, but like I've said before, we've all had hundreds of games of Monopoly. We're like, man, that was the best night I've ever had with my friends. Looking at you, TJ, Star Wars Monopoly, those coins were great. So, because why I bring that up is there's a moment in this game called My Shelfie in which you get that feeling just for a little bit of, boy, I'm playing Connect 4. Because what this game is, My Shelfie, it's a game all about shelves that are unbranded and unnamed, because we can't call them Cadillacs and we can't call them the Target brands, but they're 6x5 shelves, cube shelves, 13-inch cube shelves most likely. And you have a 3D shelf, and you're going to be stacking that shelf and making a design so that your shelf looks better than everyone's shelf, hence the game My Shelfie, right? So this is a game all about strategically planning out placement and taking the right tiles and putting them in the right order, because once they're in your shelf, you can't change it. So let's take a look at what My Shelfie is, what it does. We'll come back up, talk final thoughts right now. Hey, before you go any further with this review, make sure to check out the Dice Tower merch store at dicetowerstore.com. Get this hat and more there. And then come by the booth at Dice Tower East and buy it in person. So, we'll see you. See you with the review. Forgot to do that part. Let's take a look at My Shelfie. All right, here's My Shelfie. Now, normally I would cut straight to my other snap, but I want to show you something. This is the setup every time you get to a certain amount of these, you have to redo this, and this gets a little tedious. And by a little tedious, I mean it's a whole lot tedious. All right, this is My Shelfie, or as I like to call it, Cadillacs, the board game. Just kidding, not sponsored by them, or the little Target ones, which are white one that I'm going to show you in the Quacks. Quedlinburg is a Target one, and they work great. Not what's important. What's important here is My Shelfie. Now, you get these amazing 3D, is it 4x, no, it's 5x6. Oh, that's bigger than any that we have. You get an amazing 5x6 shelf here. Now, the point of this game is you're trying to arrange your shelf in a way, and yes, there's board games, to make a design, make a pattern. Everyone's going to get a personal gold card, and there are 2 public gold cards. If you're the first to score these, obviously you're going to get more points because they descend downwards. You set up the board, there are fewer tiles placed in a fewer person game, as well as these points will be different, and it tells you in the setup. First person to fill up theirs gets this prize point. However, filling up first isn't necessarily the goal. You're trying to do stuff. So let's talk about the personal goals first. In our shelf, we're trying to make this pattern appear, and for the amount of them that we get more points. If we get all 6, it's worth 12 points. So currently, as we have it set up, we have the white one here, we have the blue one, we have this green one, we have this pink one, and we have that blue one. So currently we're at 5, so we get 9 points at the end with this setup. The other thing are the public goal cards. The public goals are things where if you were the first to do these things, so this would be 3 columns max with 3 different things in it. So we have 1 column here that has 3 different types in it, so that would count as 1, but you need 3 of them, and once you do that, you're the first. This one is 2 groups, or a group of a 4x4, 2 groups of a 4x4 of the same type. So there are cats there already, and then if we drop a blue here, we'll be able to drop it in and get that bonus. It'll be worth 8 points. Now, the way you take tiles is you can choose 1, 2, or 3 tiles from an outside edge or anything that's open. So stuff will become open. Obviously, it's an outside edge. It has to have at least 2, it has to be uncovered. If something's in the middle, you could not, since you can take 1, 2, or 3 tiles, you could not take this unless you took it, pretend these are gone. You couldn't take this by itself unless you took it as a group of 1, 2, 3. So things will get freed up, and you'll take these off of here. And once you get them, you'll come over and you'll put them into your shelfie just like this, dropping them in, Connect 4 style. What happens is once this gets down to there are 4 or fewer tiles left, you'll then refill the board. And that gets tedious. The game ends when someone fills theirs, it's equal turns, and then you'll score. The way you score at the end also are for groups. So if you have a group of 3 equal touching, it's 2 points. A group of 4 is 3 points, 5, and then 6. That's how that works. That's all there is to it. And the best part about it is cleanup is a cinch. You just dump them out and you're done. Then put them back in the bag. Really quick to set up, and also a great rule book here explaining all of the different public goals right there on the back. So if you ever have any questions, boom, it's there. I love it when a game has a simple rule book, and this one has a simple but very effective rule book. Scratch that. It's not a quick setup because of this. It's a quick teardown, which is good. All right, so My Shelfie. I mean, I don't know if you noticed this, but there were cats, there were plants, there was all sorts of stuff in that shelf. I'm just saying that this might bump So Clover for my top 10 nature game. I'm just saying, this might be my number 10 nature game of all time, is my Shelfie. There's all sorts of plants. I get all euphoric about nature just looking at these plants. Anyway, so art. The game looks great, right? Now, my one quibble is that, and again, this is a production cost thing, and I totally get it. I'd love it if every single cat was different from the other ones. I'd love it if every single set of board games was different from the other ones. I'd love it if every plant, every comic book, every award was different. Some of them are the same, some of them are similar. But they're great. I love the fact that you have these 5 suits, quote unquote, and then you're stacking them in your display. This could have been done with cards, and I'm so thankful it wasn't, because if you would have done this in a 5x6 card grid tableau, I would not have liked this as much. If you said, no, look, you're building a Cadillac shelf flat on the table, I'd have been like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't work right. But the fact that it's this 3D shelf and you stack them in there, and when they go in, you literally physically see your shelf. The art in this game, or the presentation I should say, is tremendous. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the best when it comes to uniqueness and really fitting its theme, because we've all done this. Right? Carla, just the other day while I was in Childers, Texas, she took everything out of our magic room, and I mean everything, and then she put it all back in, and she rethemed our shelves to where you have this cool X pattern now. Some of you have been seeing this and noticing it. It's every other one is vertical, horizontal, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it makes this cool X here of horizontal games, just like that, and it's all diamond shaped. Those little things matter to people, and some people it matters a whole lot more, which is what's great about this game. So art, the game looks great. Art direction is very simple. The symbols are simple, and if you lose track of what the symbols mean, the page on the instruction booklet is so great and so helpful. Then it comes to gameplay. Now, I gotta ding it for one thing, but it's inevitable. I'm a PWH fan, big time. Like anything he does, huge fan. Love Phil Walker Harding's stuff. However, I wish there was some way to get these tiles on that board when you got to refill faster. It is a pain to set those tiles out there and go, all right, okay, I'll just drag these, set them in here. Oh, that moved that shelf. Oh, let me move it. It's a pain, and I wish there was a way around that. However, the main meat of the game of taking the tiles and choosing 1, 2, or 3 and being like, well, I can use this, and if I put them in this order, that will help me with this, but it won't help me with that. Oh, wait a minute, if I do that over there, I can make it where I get both goals. It looks so simple, but at the end of the day, you're trying to juggle 17 different goals. And by that, I mean, you know, the 2 public ones, the private one you have, and then trying to get those connected groups. It's such a good game. Like, I love this game. It looks like a gimmick. I'm not going to lie. When you see it, you go, oh, they're just cashing in on the fact that gamers like shelves, which we do. We do. But it's not. It really feels fun. Like, my 9-year-old played this, and sometimes you hear that sentence, you go, oh, okay, this is a little light. No, it's so good for every age group. Like, everybody will appreciate this game because of the spatial elements, because the, you know, choosing your tile elements, because of the scoring elements. This is just such a great game. It's a win. It's a knock out of the park. I love my Shelfie. This is an 8 out of 10 for me. It'd be an 8.5 if the setup each round or each time you refresh was a little faster. But if you haven't played this, or if you haven't seen this, 100% go get my Shelfie. It is such a fun game, and it's a cool looking game. It looks great on the table. Like, literally, this would look good leaving it on your shelf, set up on. It's like meta, right? It's like Inception. It's like a shelf inside of a shelf inside of a shelf. It would look great. So my Shelfie, 8 out of 10, would be 8.5 if I could set those rounds a little faster. But great looking game, really great to play, and wide variety of who would enjoy this game. So that's my Shelfie. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. Dice Tower Brian. Until next time, we'll see you.